Hey everyone, it's Kelly. I'm back today with a new 12 by 12 scrapbook process video for the Cut to You cut file shop. And today I'm going to be using a free cut file. This is Merry, 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 and Bright. It is part of the 12 days of cut files from Cut to You. So I will make sure to include the link to the free cut file in the description box below. I do believe this cut file is only available for 24 hours. So you do want to make sure that you check it out quickly so that way you don't miss out on getting it for free. Now I cut the cut file very small. I think it's only about 4 inches tall. And I use a Cricut Explorer, and I do recommend that if you are going to cut an intricate cut file like this one, small, that you do use the custom setting on your Cricut and use an intricate cut for cardstock. It definitely makes a huge difference in getting those teeny tiny lines cut perfectly. Now, I do want to mention that this video is also part of a December YouTube hop that was organized by Gwen. She is the owner of the Cut to You cut file shop, and I will include any information on that YouTube hop in the description box below. The only rule with this hop was to use Christmas product from your stash, no new product. So I am using the Pink Fresh Studio December Days collection, and it's just a really fun collection. I love the colors in it. It's Christmassy, but not traditional colors, which is really fun. Those tend to be more my color schemes when it comes to Christmas. And I just had a lot of fun putting this layout together. Now I did cut the cut file twice, as you can see here. I cut it once as is, and then I cut it a second time. I just used the contour feature in Cricut Design Space to fill in all of those teeny tiny openings on the letters because I wanted to back the cut file. And truth be told, I did cut this once before this, and I tried backing the cut file with different papers, and because I cut the cut file so small, it was really tricky. So I decided to cut it a second time and then use the contour feature just to create a backing for the cut file. If you need more detail on how I did that, please let me know and I will talk you through it in the comments below. My photos are pretty small. I printed them at 2 by 3, and my idea was to set them next to the cut file, kind of how you see them arranged here, and I was going to put the cut file on the right hand side of the layout. But the cut file was a little too tall, so I actually cut off the 2 top Marys on the cut file just to make it fit a little bit better with my photos. At the beginning of the video, you saw me cut that snowflake paper in half, and I'm going to put one piece on the top of the layout and one piece on the bottom of the layout, and then place the photos in the middle on the white cardstock. Now, I wanted this to be fairly centered. I am tearing the edges of the pattern paper because I feel like it just makes it look more, I don't know if organic is the right word, but more natural without having the harsh line where I cut the paper. If it's torn, it just seems like it flows a little bit better. So I used a ruler to measure out where I wanted the pattern papers to go. Again, they're not perfectly even. I have a little bit more, I think, on the top, maybe the bottom, but I want it to be fairly centered where my photos are going to be. So these photos are of me and my mom. We go Christmas shopping every year together at least once, and I'm hoping that we're able to do that this year. I'm not sure with COVID how much we're going to actually get out and about this Christmas season, but each year that we do go shopping, we stop at a display either in Michael's or in Target, and we take a selfie together. Now, this year I did use Snapchat filters because I just think they're funny, and we were laughing at them, and I took quite a few. I think I took more than this, but these were just the 4 that kind of stood out to me. And I do journal about this a little bit, but it is something that I included in my memory planner for last year, so I definitely have the photos and everything documented in full detail. But I thought the photos were so cute that they were worthy of being documented twice. So I've decided to change up a little bit of how I'm going to arrange the layout. I actually liked the Merry and Bright cut file in the center of the photos rather than it being on the right-hand side. It just felt a little bit more balanced. Now I'm just going through the die cuts and the stickers, just trying to find things that will work. I do want to make sure that I add some red on the right-hand side of the page because the photo on the left-hand side of the page, we are wearing I don't know if they're Santa hats or what they are. They have braids attached to them, but they're really bright red. And I felt like I needed to balance that a little bit by adding some red on the right-hand side of the layout. So I am paying attention to the colors of the embellishments that I'm picking out, just trying to pick and choose things that are really going to help balance things out and make sure that there's not too much of one color on one side and not enough on the other side of the layout. I'm going to go ahead and add some tissue paper behind each of the pictures. I just really like how tissue paper looks. It's something that I picked up on watching Missy Whitten's videos, but it gives a nice border to the photos and really kind of separates it from the background. Even though the tissue paper is white and I'm going to be placing them on white cardstock, it just gives a little bit of a buffer and just adds a little bit more texture around the photo and really kind of helps draw your eye in. I'm going to use liquid adhesive to adhere down the cut file. I'm trying to make sure that it's as straight as I can get it. Again, it's pretty small, pretty intricate, so I don't want to fuss with it too much because I don't want to tear it. So now I'm going to finish getting everything else adhered down to the layout, including the photos and all of the embellishments. I did add some adhesive foam behind each of the pictures just to help lift them off the layout a little bit more. Again, adding a little bit of dimension and a little bit of texture around the photos, it just helps bring your eye to the photos a little bit better. I am tucking some of the embellishments underneath those torn pieces of paper, again, just trying to make things flow well. I really like how those die cut snowflakes look tucked underneath the torn edges. It just kind of makes it look like the pattern paper is continuing onto the white cardstock, even though it's really not. So I'm going to continue to go through the different die cuts and stickers and just try to find a few other odds and ends to add to the layout. I really wanted to add 3 of those die cut snowflakes, but the only other one that I could find was that really bright brassy gold, and I didn't have any other gold on the layout, so I went back through everything and found these wood veneer shapes that have some gold foiling on them, and I added 3 hearts. I'm going to go back through the die cuts again, and I actually ended up finding a really small blue snowflake, and I liked it better than that gold one. The gold, it was just too pronounced. It was just too loud on the layout, so I ended up pulling that, and I'm going to add that blue snowflake right on top of one of the pictures. So I'm going to go back through and finish adhering everything else down that I didn't have glued down yet. I am going to add some liquid adhesive behind those stars. They do have some adhesive on them, but they weren't sticking really well. And I really do like to add extra adhesive because I want to make sure that these embellishments are definitely going to stay stuck down to the layout. I went over to my typewriter with a scrap piece of paper and just typed out a few lines of journaling, just explaining what was going on in the photos. No real in-depth story, just that I was shopping with my mom. And I'm just going to trim down those word strips, and I'm going to add it on the right-hand side of the layout underneath one of the pictures. I did bring in a candy cane die cut, and then I did add a couple die cuts, one on the left-hand side of the layout on top of one of the pictures, and then another sentiment strip on the bottom of one of the pictures on the right-hand side of the layout. Again, just trying to balance everything, making sure that I have similar embellishments on both sides of the page. I am going to bring in some enamel dots from this collection and just scatter a few around the page. I love enamel dots. They're one of my favorite embellishments. I just love the extra pop of color, and I love the dimensional texture that they add to a background. So I always think those are a lot of fun. I tend to pick them up with every collection that I buy. So I have quite a big stash of them, but they make me happy. So I'm going to continue to buy them, but I like how they look on this layout. It really does add a nice finishing touch to this layout. I'm going to go ahead and hold the layout a little bit closer to the camera just so you can see it in a little bit more detail. And I will have still shots at the end for you as well, so that way you can see things close up. This layout was so much fun to put together. I really enjoyed working with that cut file, and here are the still shots. Now, that pink pattern paper that I used to back the cut file was so light that I had a hard time picking it up on camera. So it's going to look like there's nothing behind the cut file and that it's just on the white background. But I promise there is a pink pattern paper underneath there. But I will have all of the links and everything that you need for the YouTube Pop, and I will also have the code plus the link to this free cut file. So make sure you check it out. I hope you all are having a great holiday season. I'll be back again soon. Bye.